going on, guys? I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com and BberryDog.com, and we're on to the messaging and phone capabilities of the BlackBerry Storm2 9550. Whether you're buying it for yourself, for a friend, for a family member, we want to make sure you know what the device can do. So instead of doing a quick 15-minute video review that gives you the bullet points of everything but doesn't quite dive into the full functionality of the device, we're breaking it up into messaging, web browsing, media player capabilities, hardware, phone performance, etc., in order to give you a better idea of what the device can actually do. But before we get into the video, special thanks to our friends at Best Buy Mobile for providing us with not one, but two BlackBerry Storm 2s for use in our One Paw Bandit giveaway. You know, one thing I like about Best Buy Mobile is pricing is instant and it's walk out the door. So you don't have to worry about mail-in rebates, no paperwork, no mess, no waiting 8 to 10 weeks to get your money. It is instant and you get it at the point of sale. So enough of that, let's get into the review. Hardware and phone capabilities starting right now. In regards to overall hardware, there are some pretty significant changes from the Storm 1 to the Storm 2. The actual look of the device, though, is somewhat similar. The dimensions are exactly the same, and then the weight of the Storm 2 is actually a little bit heavier. The original Storm is 5.47 ounces, and the Storm 2 is 5.64 ounces. So a little bit heavier in the hand. Other than that, you'll notice that the curves at the end of the device are sloped down a little bit more than the original Storm, and it follows the trend of some of the more recent devices like the Curve 8520 and the Bold 9700, where they've rubberized the buttons on the side. So you'll see that micro USB port is still on the lower left hand side. They did not move it up to the top left hand side like some of the more recent devices. On the top, you'll notice the power button and the mute key, and on the bottom you'll notice the sing key, BlackBerry key, back key, and end key. One of the primary differences between this one and the original Storm is these buttons are electronic. They're no longer physical buttons. So when you have the battery pulled out, these buttons don't operate, or don't push down rather, like the original did. That's due in part to the massive screen difference between the original Storm and the Storm 2. If you go back to the original Storm, it sat on, think of it like this, it sat on one single button in the middle of the display. So the screen sat like this and moved like that, depending on how you pushed it, or if you pushed it straight down, it went down. The Storm 2, and it was a physical button. The Storm 2 sits on 4 what's called electronic actuators. So they're not actual buttons anymore, rather they're electronic buttons. So when you push the display on the Storm 2, what you're feeling, that is an electronic impulse. You're not actually pushing anything. As weird as that is, you're not actually pushing a physical button underneath the display. So same thing with the buttons on the bottom. Those are controlled by the electronic actuator, so when the battery is pulled out, this entire thing stops working. The keyboard on the Storm 2 is almost identical to the original Storm, with the exception of support for multi-touch input as a result of the Storm 2 using the electronic actuators as opposed to the one physical button in the middle where you had to wait to remove your finger before you could push something else down. So, for example, I can hold that down and push 5 now. You can see it showing up. Whereas on the original Storm you had to push it, wait, hit it, push, hit, push, hit. So that's a nice little feature if you utilize that a lot, or if you're a fast typer, you'll notice that your typing speeds will increase on the Storm 2 as a result. Let's type out a test message. And you'll see that it's showing up there. If you don't like the SureType keyboard, you can enable a full keyboard, or you can just turn it into landscape orientation. So it gives you a couple different options depending on what you like. Personally, I'm so used to, apparently I can't talk and do this at the same time. I'm so used to the SureType layout that I don't have a problem with it, and if I ever do want to go to the keyboard, I can always go into landscape mode. But for those of you that do like a full QWERTY keyboard, you do have the option of converting it in portrait mode to a full QWERTY keyboard. You'll notice that the call interface is very similar as well to the original Storm, if not completely identical. You'll notice the dial pad on the bottom, then the other two tabs, call log, and contacts. So you can either dial directly from your contacts, dial from your call log, or dial from your dial pad. Let's do a test call. You'll see that there are 4 options: speaker, mute, flash, or you can add a participant. Each one lights up when you select it. If you want to actually push it, you would click it down. Down at the bottom, it'll allow you to show the dial pad, notes, home screen, view calendar, and view contacts. So you can do any of that. So a lot of functionality from the actual device itself. So that's very nice, or from the actual call interface itself, rather. So you don't have to actually go out, type a note, come back. So that's nice. And last but not least, on the hardware side, the 3.2 megapixel camera, unchanged from the original Storm. Let's take a test picture. I'll snap one of my cat who's over here in the corner. Cat napping. Hang on one second. So you can see picture quality not terrible. You can see her sleeping on the towel, the box behind her. Very good picture quality, actually. Though I found the shutter time to be quite slow. You can hear, for example, let me do another one. I just hit the button, and there's the snap. So I'm going to hit it again. Hit it. And then there's the snap. So a little slow on the shutter time. If you're taking something that's moving pretty quickly, you're probably not going to get a clear image of it. But if you're doing a portrait or excuse me, something where somebody's standing still, a picture of a cat sleeping, something like that, you should be more than fine. The pictures look nice as well. You get the option to send it, set picture as, take another picture, rename it, or delete it. So several options in the camera. We'll have more on the BlackBerry Storm 2. We're going to cover everything about it, from the OS to, like I said, the hardware to the messaging to the web browsing. We're here for you. We'll have more videos as the days go on. For Phone Dog and BlackBerry Dog, I'm Aaron. Thanks for watching.